A supermajority, supramajority, qualified majority or special majority, is a requirement for a proposal to gain a specified level of support which is greater than the threshold of more than one-half used for a majority. Supermajority rules in a democracy can help to prevent a majority from eroding fundamental rights of a minority. Changes to constitutions, especially those with entrenched clauses, commonly require supermajority support in a legislature. Parliamentary procedure requires that any action of a deliberative assembly that may alter the rights of a minority have a supermajority requirement, such as a two-thirds vote. Related concepts regarding alternatives to the majority vote requirement include a majority of the entire membership and a majority of the fixed membership. A supermajority can also be specified based on the entire membership or fixed membership rather than on those present and voting. The first known use of a supermajority rule was in the 100s BCE in ancient Rome. Pope Alexander III introduced the use of supermajority rule for papal elections at the Third Lateran Council in 1179. In the Democratic Party of the United States, a rule requiring the determination of a presidential nominee required the votes of two-thirds of delegates to the Democratic National Convention was adopted at the party's first presidential nominating convention in 1832. The two-thirds rule gave Southern Democrats a de facto veto over any presidential nominee after the Civil War, which lasted until the rule was abolished in 1936. A majority vote, or more than half the votes cast, is a common voting basis, instead of the basis of a majority. A supermajority can be specified using any fraction or percentage which is greater than one-half. It can also be called a qualified majority. Common supermajorities include 3/5. A two-thirds vote, when unqualified, means two-thirds or more of the votes cast. This voting basis is equivalent to the number of votes in favor being at least twice the number of votes against. Abstentions and absences are excluded in calculating a two-thirds vote. The two-thirds requirement can be qualified to include the entire membership of a body instead of only those present and voting. But such a requirement must be explicitly stated. In this case, abstentions and absences count as votes against the proposal. Alternatively, the voting requirement could be specified as two-thirds of those present, which has the effect of counting abstentions but not absences as votes against the proposal. For example, if an organization has 150 members and at a meeting 30 members are present with 25 votes cast, a two-thirds vote would be 17. Another type of supermajority is 3/5. This requirement could also be qualified to include the entire membership or to include those present. In 2006, the Constitution of Florida was amended to require a 60% majority to pass new constitutional amendments by popular vote. For the Montenegrin independence referendum held in 2006, the European Union envoy Miroslav Lajcak proposed independence if a 55% supermajority of votes are cast in favor with a minimum turnout of 50%. Such procedure, ultimately accepted by the government of Montenegro, was somewhat criticized as overriding the traditional practice of requiring a two-thirds supermajority, as practiced in all ex-Yugoslav countries before. In 2016, the Constitution of Colorado was amended to require a 55% majority to pass new constitutional amendments by popular vote. It had previously been a simple majority. Related concepts regarding alternatives to the majority vote requirement include a majority of the entire membership and a majority of the fixed membership. A majority of the entire membership is a voting basis that requires that more than half of all the members of a body vote in favor of a proposition in order for it to be passed. In practical terms, it means an absence or an abstention from voting is equivalent to a no vote. It may be contrasted with a majority vote which only requires more than half of those actually voting to approve a proposition for it to be enacted. An absolute majority may also be the same as a majority of the entire membership, although this usage is not consistent. In addition, a supermajority could be specified in this voting basis, such as a vote of two-thirds of the entire membership. By way of illustration, in February 2007, the Italian government fell after it lost a vote in the Italian Senate by 158 votes to 136. The government needed an absolute majority in the 318-member House but fell 2 votes short of the required 160 when 2 of its own supporters abstained. In the United States Electoral College, an absolute majority of electoral votes are required for it to elect the U.S. President and Vice President. A majority of the fixed membership is based on the total number of the established fixed membership of the deliberative assembly. It is used only whe.